3 shots, 4 par, I just do 2. 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woohoo. New driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do? Think I'll try to get on into. Start right, good line, good view, it drew. Shooter McGavin, 2 thumbs that's up high and 2 fingers.
All right, episode number 126. Brycer sends his regrets. He could not make this one. He's slugging away at work right now, but this is a pretty cool one for anybody who's been following along the pod for a very long time. First of all, thank you. Hopefully you're subscribed on all the platforms, Spotify, Apple, over on YouTube. Really appreciate it. 126 episodes later, and we have our first guest ever returning, Geoff Tait from Triple Bogey. So right away, jump on the call. It's like, those 2.5 years didn't pass. I just talked to Geoff like he's an old friend, one of the easiest guys to talk to in the whole golf space, golf community. Just one of the most humble, nicest guys. Immediately, right off the hop, starts talking about his team. That's why I wanted to kind of do a little bit of an intro here. There were a couple of spots that I had to cut out at the pod. I didn't wear a hat. For one part, I had to run downstairs. I was like sucking wind for a few minutes afterwards. So we didn't want to hear me huffing and puffing, but right away I hop on the call and he's just telling me about the team, how good a job they're doing, and just how lucky he is. They've sold almost 5 million cans, or 4.7 million, 3.7 million on the golf course, and a million in the LCBO, which is pretty impressive. And that's not even all of them. I think that might just be the, don't quote me, but I think that might just be the logger. But really, really incredible guy, really incredible story. Before we hop on the call, he's telling me about Charles Guyett. He's the kind of the lead there now. Geoff is so humble. He's the owner, but he's kind of talking about his staff always. So Charles is the tall Australian guy that kind of is taking the lead on a lot of their projects over there. He's got Jeff Brush, a longtime friend, who's Jeff, from back in the golf biz. He's a friend of Jeff's that he's been with the company now for a little while. Fred Garand, apologize if I get any of these last names wrong or any of these names in general, but and Steph Purdy, they're great new additions in 2022. I remember them popping up on social media back in 2022, and he just talked about them for an extended period of time, how important the team is to him, how dedicated they are, how much work they do. Went on to talk about Corey Behan, who is the newest addition in 2023 to the sales team, who they help with, and he also helps with some of the deliveries with Greg Brown and Johnny Russell. So Steve Woods and Paul Razar are behind the scenes working with Geoff on all the marketing and those kind of things. So if you're looking at this can right now on the right-hand side, if you're watching us on YouTube, it's the new TRANSFUSION. So the TRANSFUSION Triple Bogey Brewing has brought it into Canada, which is amazing. You might have mixed up your own here and there before, but I've been lucky enough to try some, and the formula is absolutely perfect. So if you're out at the golf course this year, hopefully we've just got some snow in some areas, but hopefully we're out golfing the next month or so. Do yourself a favor, pick one up. Really easy drinking, not too sweet, not too sour, not too much vodka. It's like literally the perfect mix. And if you do, definitely tag them on Instagram. You can tag Geoff at Triple Bogey or at Triple Bogey Brewing, and just give them your feedback on it. They're really, really interested in hearing your feedback. It's really, really amazing, and I think what they've created will be an integral part to the fun afternoons that you have out on the golf course. And of course, before we ended up the chat, we just were kind of shooting the shit off air, and his wife Megan has been with him, as soon as they started the brand, or since they started the brand 10 years ago. And they got a little guy Sawyer and a little girl Fiona, who are kind of cheering them on. So it was really cool. This was a really fun episode for me to record. Really cool to just talk to Geoff. He's got some really, really awesome stories. He's been around the golf biz a long time. He's been in the apparel side of things. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. But, when you're out there on the course, hopefully you, if you're in, the Ontario region, or you're out west, or in the limited spots down in the States where they may have them, or now out east quite a bit, we would appreciate if you choose Triple Bogey and support the man that you're going to hear on the pod here and the rest of his team that he's spoken so highly about, because it was a really fun one to record. And I think knowing where that goes back and all the hard work that's been put in, I think it'll make it taste even better for you. So episode number 126, our first ever guest to the On the Screws podcast, returning Geoff Tait, owner and founder of Triple Bogey Brewing. You drink 3 or 4 of them, you don't know what color it is anymore. Anyway, it's fine, man. It doesn't matter. There's no difference in any of them. It doesn't matter if it's my hat, the color's behind me, anything like that, right? But
you never notice.
Yeah, that's good though. So when did you guys like start the idea of the transfusion? Like when did you kind of get into that?
It was last year for sure. It was I would say probably about spring last year. I actually had a buddy of mine, Brad Friesner. He's a Club Link guy, and he said, "You guys got to do transfusions." I'm like, "I don't even know what a transfusion is, man. I've never heard of it." And then all of a sudden, another guy, Matt Savage from Mill Run, he actually said it to me too, and I'm like, "There's got to be something here." And at Mill Run, he said they serve like 150 of these babies on a men's day. So I said, "Well, let's try it." And I actually had those guys taste this one to make sure that it was what they wanted it to be, and got it bang on. So we're all good.
Nice. And it's like, it's pretty limited in ingredients too, right? It's not like it's,
man, it's just grape juice, ginger ale, and vodka. So it's pretty simple. We were making them at home before we ever had them in the can. So
yeah, I like, I've seen them, and I know like at the Waste Management, they're a big drink and stuff like that too. You see them kind of all over like golf Instagram and whatnot. So it's good to have that actually formulated into a can that we can now order out on the course. Like obviously, if people are tuning in now, we're at episode number 126. Geoff Tait, the owner, founder of Triple Bogey Brewing. So Geoff, I don't know if we got to it before, but I had to cut out the part where I definitely ran downstairs to get the hat because I'll be sucking wind when I get back up here, especially having a few of these last night. But anybody listening to the pod right now is probably pretty familiar with Triple Bogey Brewing. Like if they're in the Canadian or Canada area, you guys are down in the States now too. I know that was even something that we discussed last time, that you were kind of moving down there. How's that kind of production going for you? How's everything working out with the expansion?
Everything's great, man. It's we got the trademark in the States. We're selling a little bit in the US, but we're still sticking with Canada for the most part. We're huge in Ontario. About 400 plus golf courses, LCBO, grocery, and then we go across Canada, starting Alberta. Alberta's real good; it's heating up. Manitoba's real good, and then we actually just got a couple of sweet phone calls lately and emails from the PEI Liquor Board. And they've been drinking transfusions out there, but mixing their own for many years. So they said, we need to get this into the PEI liquor stores. So we're shipping 200 cases out to PEI. So you'll be able to find them on Crowbush probably, and a bunch of good golf courses out there. And that's just been recent. And then just working on Halifax or Nova Scotia right now, to be honest. I got an email from the good folks at Cabot Links, and they said, we've been mixing transfusions for a while now. We'd like to get yours in. So we'll see. I'm going to send him some samples, and hopefully he enjoys them as much as the ones he makes. And we should be on Cabot Links this summer, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that was actually one of the questions we got to from our friend Golf with Greg. I don't know if you recognize that name, but he was in this area. He was in the Oshawa area, kind of out where I am, Durham region. And he messaged last night when I had posted a little questionnaire about Triple B on the East Coast, ? So he was, I think he had moved down to New Brunswick, but he has played Cabot a couple times, or he had been out there. So I know that he was not too far from that area. So that'll be good for those guys down there, knowing that it's coming for sure.
We'll get it into NB soon, Greg. But right now you just have to cross the border and get it over in PEI and Nova Scotia. So
yeah, bring a couple home. Just grab a couple extras and bring them home. So when Geoff, when you guys started kind of venturing down the States, is it you said that you're not doing a whole lot down there? Is it just a lot of hoops to jump through to kind of cross the border and sell that on the other end?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, the business down there, it would be huge, but it's just a lot to handle, right? So once I'd love to be able to clone myself or clone Charles and pick up what we do here and do it there. But every state has different laws. Everything's different down there. You got to be able to make it. And you got to be able to match the prices of your competitors down there too, right? So once you ship it across the border, all the duties and all that stuff, it doesn't really make as much sense. We'd have to kind of set up shop down there and make it worth it. But again, we're doing enough here. I think I posted on Instagram the other day. I mean, we've sold over 4,700,000 and something thousand cans and that's just the green can, right? So we're doing well in Canada, and I don't want to take my finger off the pulse here, to be honest. So
So you can safely say you've sold over 5 million cans
Yeah.
when
Oh
you
yeah.
when you
Oh
work.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that
when you
doesn't
work.
include light, doesn't include amber, doesn't include half and half, doesn't include kegs. It doesn't include any of that stuff. That's just of the green can. So we're rolling, man. It's and again, that's what's paying the rent. And again, the U.S. is a big market. I have had a few chats with a few guys that are kind of well well in touch with the U.S. market. I think we could probably get something going next spring, but I wanted to bring up this new drink in Canada first and
Yeah.
get it going and make sure we knew what we were doing with this one, because this one seems to be a winner.
Now, it's you mentioned the half and half, so I know you and I have chatted about it. We can see it over your right shoulder there. I guess there's a photo of you having a lunch with Arnie. So the
Yeah.
the half and half is kind of like an ode to the Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to say that, but
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's a half and half. Arnold Palmer was the one that kind of brought that to the world. I did work for him, but it has no affiliation with him whatsoever. But it's we love it. It's a good drink. It's we brought that out last year, and it sold really well. And there's only there's a lot of hard iced teas out there these days, but not a lot of half and halves.
yeah,
Yeah, it was my kind of first into the seltzer world to make something different. We're gonna actually change it to vodka about halfway through the summer this year. Right now it's a malt beverage, but we found a lot of people kind of scoffed at the malt thing. So hopefully we can catch an even bigger market if it's a spirit. So now we got our spirit license. Sky's the limit. Who knows? Maybe a little triple bogey tequila coming down the pipe. Who knows? You heard it here first, but we'll see what happens.
damn, I love hearing that. It's yeah, it's I guess too, because we've talked a little bit about some of your businesses and stuff in the past, and I wanted to grab another question. Garrett Hadfield, I don't know if you recognize that name. So, you guys have had a beer together at some point. He told me about, but he is
Had a lot of beers with a lot of people out there, my man.
he's the he's out west, so he's out in Alberta. He's the owner of Goat Track Social Club, or Goat Track
Yeah,
clothing line, and
yeah.
he was so they do like a lot of they've got like a pretty unique style, and like their gear. I actually have one on underneath under here, under the sweater, but he asked what's a cool story about working with the Arnold Palmer on the Arnie brand.
Okay, yeah. I've got lots of them, but I'd say the coolest one would probably be the Augusta trip. We went down to Arnold invited us down. Mr. Palmer, we called it back then. He invited us down to watch him play in the par three. So he was playing that year. Corey Britt, good buddy of mine, was caddying for him. He was Arnold Palmer's vice president. And lucky but unlucky, the par three contest kind of got rained out after a few holes. So Corey and Arnold and I were kind of standing around, and Arnold said, "What should we do next?" And we said, "Well, let's go up and have a few drinks." And he said, "Yeah, let's do it." So he was staying on the property, and he said, "Come up in 20 minutes or whatever." So we went up 20 minutes, and Corey said, "Just wait a few minutes. Jack and Arnold are out on the patio having a quick conversation." So it was Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer. We're at Augusta. We're on the property. I'm just blown away by this whole thing, right? So Jack came off the patio, and he came over and he goes, "Oh, you're the guy that's making such cool clothes," and smacked me in the belly. And I said, "Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nicholas. That was pretty cool." And then from there we went to we all went and sat on the patio, had some chips and dip, and we drank Kettle One and on the rocks for about 6 hours, and listened to Arnold Palmer tell stories about his career and about his life. And he was telling me to make sure not to pee on the toilet seat, and it was just like a dream come true, man.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I got lots of those stories, but that was probably the highlight of just to be at Augusta and be with Arnold Palmer, and to just experience that whole thing. You can't buy that stuff. So
Well, it's like I was saying, we're 125, 26 episodes deep here, and I've heard the when I ask people that question, like, what's one of your cooler like golf stories? Like, do you have a golf memory or anything that sticks out? Like, there's been half a dozen times, and his name comes up. Like, anybody who's kind of interacted with him. A good buddy of mine, Anthony Spagnoli, was telling me about how he ended up like running into him in a golf cart in I can't remember what course he was playing at, but yeah, but it might have been might have been either way. He like ran into him in a golf course, and he had a golf cart in the parking lot. He was like looking over, and he was kind of like, "Shit, I don't know. Like, is that really Arnold Palmer?" He's kind of like, is this for real?" Like, pinched himself, and he kind of waved him over and said, like, "Do you want to like grab a photo or something like that?" And he was just saying it's like his pride, man. It's down in his office, and it's kind of like his pride to see that. And like, I guess when somebody like that is telling you like, all right, come up in 20 minutes, you're probably like, okay, 1956, 1957, 1958. And you're like, all right, like,
counting down, brother. We were counting down.
yeah,
We were pinching ourselves, right? We're just like, we spent a lot of time with him, but to be there, just you can't even get in the gate at Augusta, right? Like
yeah,
you put your name in the lottery and do all that stuff. But and then the next morning we were a little hungover, and we got to go and watch the three of them tee off on the first hole, because they did the first hole to get the round going, or to get the whole thing going. So that was pretty neat too, to just to be a part of that, and just to be in his presence, and you can see his picture over my shoulder. That is actually at Augusta there. So
sorry for the
I looked a lot younger and cooler back then.
sorry to cut in there with the cracking the can open, but so that's an old, is that an old Triple Bogey shirt, or is that a Quagmire?
No, that's a Quagmire. It's a green. It's got the green Triple Bogey on there though. But that's
Yeah,
the Quagmire. That's actually an Arnie shirt. So we did Quagmire and Arnie at the same time.
yeah.
But the Arnie stuff was down in the U.S. So it was like Macy's, Nordstrom's, Dick's, Golf Galaxy, all that stuff. So we had a good run. I went into his closets and pulled out all the shit that he wore back in the day, and we kind of designed it around that. And just to be in his house, and to just have that kind of open door with the Palmer family was pretty incredible. To this day, I look back and I wish I paid a little more attention, to be honest. I think I took it all for granted, but I know I appreciated a lot of it.
Yeah, it would have to be like, kind of like we were talking about, it would have to be hard to absorb all that like information though, right? You're kind of talking to like a legend, an icon for so many, and it would be hard to take in all that information, be able to like, I don't know, take it seriously, almost kind of like you were saying, right? You would just be sort of fanboy the whole time, and although it's business, it would be really really difficult to do. Like,
For sure. We were going to parties at Bay Hill. We were playing these great golf courses. We were doing all kinds of stuff that when I look back, I'm like, was I dreaming? It was pretty incredible. Life gets better, and with kids and family and all that stuff. But those were pretty, we can call those the good old days for sure.
quick break to introduce today's episode sponsor, Wakewater. Wakewater.ca is a Canadian company produced in London, Ontario, based in Toronto, Ontario. I've been drinking Wakewater for a few months now. To me, it tastes just like any other sparkling water, bubbly, Perrier, Pellegrino, with just a little bit more flavor, in my opinion. Zero sugar, zero sweeteners, and 0 calories. Each can of Wakewater contains 85 milligrams of caffeine from green tea, which is about the same as a small cup of coffee. Contains L-theanine, so you don't get that crash. You can pop a can as you're heading out for the back nine to stay hydrated. Head over to wakewater.ca using the promo code OnTheScrews10. You'll get 10% off your order. Wakewater.ca, promo code OnTheScrews10, 10% off your order. Stay hydrated out there. Enjoy the back nine. I know last time when we were chatting, I don't know if we got into it a little bit, but you'd also like had a connection with like Kanye and stuff too at some point, right? And gone to a couple parties and stuff like that where you're able to connect with some people that were kind of more in the clothing line. So is that anything that you ever think about trying to get back into, to try and like, I know obviously all the logos and stuff on the cans you probably have your design background yourself, like you probably have a hand in a lot of those designs, I guess, and just how they are finalized. But and all the gear looks really cool. I'm wearing one of the hats right now. But do you ever like think about trying to get back into that? Would it be like a Triple Bogey thing if you ever thought about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think about it every day. My first passion is clothing and design and stuff like that. With the beer and now these new drinks, it's I found a niche. When Quagmire went down and the Arnold Palmer thing all kind of imploded, the business kind of imploded. I was sitting there with a $750,000 PO on my desk from JCPenney, right? So we had a great business rolling. It was awesome, and that's kind of my first love. I have started to build some more stuff as far as like clothing and shirts and t-shirts and polos and all that stuff. We've been working with Full Wedge a little bit too. Full Wedge is a great company. I'm sure you've had them on before, and Andrew's a great dude. And so I kind of put him under my wing a little bit too, just to kind of, he's asked me questions, doing things like that. But I miss that side of things, and I would like to get back into it for sure. As far as the Kanye stuff went, yeah, that was just like, I don't know, out of this world type of stuff. We were just living the dream. But Kanye wanted to do some clothing. My old business partner Bob, who's his brother's a fitness trainer, was training Kanye at the time. He kind of set us up, and all of a sudden we're partying with Kanye and Jay-Z and John Legend and smoking joints with Kid Cudi. Like it was pretty cool. We were up at the Mercer Hotel a few times, or one time anyway, but we also partied in Kanye's place in New York, in his apartment. And yeah, those are kind of pinch me moments that you kind of take for granted, and you still got their numbers in your Rolodex, but you need to have a reason to call, right? So we'll see what happens.
I guess so. I'm sure Kanye's got a few different phone numbers by this time anyway, right?
Sure,
like, things have really I don't know, spiraled for that guy, but there's no doubt like he's probably one of the most influential like clothing designers in the world, right? It's hard to deny that, and obviously extremely talented, but
Sure.
he's an interesting
Christmas
dude.
emails and stuff, but
What
he always answers, but it's all good. Doesn't say much, but he'll just say Merry Christmas back.
So when you want to design like a new, the new flavor or the new drink in general, like if you're wanting to do the half and half, or if you wanted to do the transfusion, or develop any of the new lines, like whether it be the amber or the light back in the day, how do you start that process? Does it can you kind of walk us through what that might look like?
Yeah, we're not too technical over here. I mean, you always surround yourself with people that know what they're doing. So we kind of said this is what we want it to taste like. I'm a sales guy by trade, right? I'm a sales and marketing guy, design, whatever. But I won't ever claim that I know how to brew beer for sure. So you surround yourself with people that know how to do that kind of stuff. And we kind of said we want the beer to be like this, and this, and then we go through a ton of different samples, and you pick out the exact flavor that you want it to be. As far as the transfusion goes, man, it was basically I relied on other people and said, to the point where I was like, even to Andrew at Full Wedge, I said, you've had these before. Why don't you mix me up one and show me exactly how you want to, how you like them. And then again, I mentioned Matt at Mill Run, and a couple other guys, Brad and John Moses over at Nobleton. Well, they all said, I said, I'll send you some samples, and we kind of mixed it the way that we thought it should be. And one guy says, we need it to be a little more grapey. One guy said a little less vodka, whatever. And I actually got help from the golf community on this one. And now that we've got the final product, they all say, fuck, this is perfect, man. This is exactly where we need it to be. And I'll take their word for it. And so far the response has been ridiculous.
Yeah, it's something that it's like easy drinking, like we were saying. It's gonna get dangerous out there in the summer enjoying some of these, and playing money games and stuff like that. Playing games with some of the boys and stuff like that. Just having these are just kind of on another level. So I'm sure it'll be good for you. And I think kind of getting in. I know, like I'm out at Port Hope, so you mentioned Full Wedge. They're in the pro shop there, and I know Corey, our GM's got some of the triple bogeys on the cart and stuff like that. So I know the guys in our group enjoy them quite a bit. So Sean, Corey, myself, we all like to grab a few as they come through. But it's kind of cool to be able to connect with you, have a conversation with you, and sort of then think when it comes out and we see the new products coming out and see other people enjoy them, like I can kind of explain sort of the process to them or guide them to the pod and be like, check this out or check out the Instagram. It's I don't know, it must be like really rewarding to see people like post it, have a good experience with it, and just be able to have a good time, and kind of if you're out there having a couple of drinks, it circles around the brand, right? So then also when you're seeing people wear some of the gear too, it's got to be fun for you as well, right? Quick break from the pod. Mac here from Manscaped, introducing the Beard Hedger from our friends over at Manscaped. With 20 different lengths, you can look good from the cart path to the clubhouse. Shop manscaped.com using the promo code OTSGolf for 20% off plus free shipping. Shop any and all Manscaped products at manscaped.com using the promo code OTSGolf for 20% off plus free shipping. We'll see you on the back nine.
It's out there, man. It's that means you got a brand going. So it's always nice to see the cans and the garbage cans at the golf club. You mentioned Corey at Port Hope. He's been with us from day one. And it's also nice to have good guys like Corey on our side. He's been awesome, and he just promotes the shit out of it for us. He is a wonderful person inside and out, and that's the kind of support we've gotten in the golf business. And people can try to tear us down, and just because of our success or whatever. But the honest truth is, it's about relationships, and we built them, and people want to kind of support the underdog, and they want to support people that support them, right? So we've really found that, and it's been 10 years. This is our 10th season. I can't believe it's been 10 years already, which blows my mind. But yeah, like back to the new drink. It's going to be wild. I was at Deer Creek last night and doing a little sampling, and people were coming back for thirds and fourths and fifths. I don't even know how they were walking, but
Yeah.
There hasn't been one person that's gone, oh, this is not for me, because it looks sweet, but it's not that sweet. And it's just got the perfect ginger and kind of lime and the best amount of vodka and grape juice. So
I can attest to it. It took me a little bit longer to wake up this morning, maybe than it usually does. But yeah, I exhausted my my sampler pack. It's done now, but that's okay. We'll find some more. And I noticed that over on socials that you guys are shipping it out now. So is this going to go into the LCBO as well?
It won't be this year, but hopefully next spring. It's everything's done a year out from the LCBO, so you have to put it in. So now that we got everything finalized and everything's good to
Right.
go, we hope it's in there for the spring. I mean, we've been working on this for a year and a half, 2 years now, and we wanted to make sure it was perfect before we got out there. You get one chance, and if it doesn't sell, then you kind of get kicked off the shelves and stuff. So hopefully
Yeah,
they
that's
like
right.
it this year, and hopefully we can build enough traction that people are asking for it at the LCBOs, and then they'll put it on the shelves. But right now it's, out of those 4,700,000 cans, 1 million have been at the LCBO, and the rest have been on golf courses. So the golf business has been very kind to me. And the margins are great on the golf courses, and so you don't necessarily need to be at the LCBO. It's a great thing to be, because you want people to be able to take it home.
Yeah.
But it's just, right now it's a specialty thing at the golf courses, and let's sell a lot of cans.
I've had some buddies too, because I know that we've, obviously you've been on in the past and stuff like that, and they've sent me some photos when they've picked up a case or 6-pack or 12-pack or something like that at the LCBO and grabbed a box of them, and they've been like, oh, like, look, I got these or whatever. They're like the golf beer, and then they want to go out golfing and stuff like that, or go and hit some golf balls. It's kind of cool because you mentioned how you started up and it was kind of like a beer for like a golf course. Now it's become a brand, right? So it's become more or
Yeah.
less like, yeah, like an actual brand that you have kind of built over 10 years, kind of from the ground up. I noticed like you mentioned that some people might, try and tear you down, or some of the bigger brands and stuff, I'm sure want to kind of, push you out. But do you think it's just kind of having that personal relationships with all the golf courses, having like a relatable option for them to get? I say relatable because I made a few triple bogeys in my days, but do you think that that's kind of what's attested to your success in this market, Geoff?
I think it's also our service. I got a great team. Charles is my right hand man, and I got Corey and Jeff Brush, and my delivery guys, Johnny and Greg, and then we got a guy named Fred up in Ottawa, and yeah, we have a great team that really works together. We make sure nobody's without. Like, if somebody calls and says, I'm out of beer, we'll get it to you the next day, or we'll get it to you that afternoon, type of thing, right? Where
Right.
a lot of the big boys have to rely on the beer store, or they don't have the capabilities to do that kind of stuff. So people love the personal touches that we do that way. But I also think that it's relationships, and I've been lucky lately because I've found the right people to build the relationships that I don't necessarily have to go out, and I've been able to take some hats off. At the beginning, it was all me, and it was
Yeah.
me driving around and me doing deliveries, me doing everything. But now, with Charles with his little Australian accent there, they don't give a shit about me anymore. They're like, oh, this big tall Australian guy comes in, and Geoff doesn't even matter, which I love, because when I show up, it's fun. I can just go have a beer with those guys, and but Charles is their main point of contact, that's kind of when you know that you've kind of built a brand that can stand on its own. Because a lot of people build brands and they have to always be the face of it, or they always have to be doing everything. So
Right.
lucky that way, and we're And I thank the crew, because the crew is I can't do it without them. And we've got a great team this year for sure.
So how do you keep it that way, Geoff? Like when you've got, the expansion that you guys are having, selling 5 million cans over 10 years, that's a lot of beers. That's a lot of places for you to be. Now, you mentioned like your great team. So when they come in, like, are you like, what's the office vibe like, or the shop vibe? Are you kind of connecting with each person that you bring in? You've kind of obviously groomed into looking after Charles into looking after
Yeah.
that, or is it something that you guys all kind of connect, you know, build a new person up and then they can kind of fly on their own sort of thing?
Yeah, yeah. I think we're all like-minded, and I think that we got, like I said, I think we got the perfect team right now. We sadly lost Taylor. You knew Taylor.
Yeah.
We lost her this past year. She had a baby, and it was a lot going on, and she did wonderful for us. She did wonderful things for us. But because our team's so small, and because we're all like-minded, we're all kind of same age, and we're all in it for the same reason, and we all understand customer service is the most important part. um, and then the drinks have to taste good as well too, right? So we got a
Right.
great beer that, again, it's the regular beer. Our lager is the one that kind of pays the rent and pays their salaries, and I'm also we motivate them, like, you guys keep selling and you can keep making money, right? So it's not about us, myself and Megan, getting rich. It's about everybody kind of being able to live comfortably and live the life that they want, and they love the freedom that I'm not overlooking anybody. You get your job done, get your accounts done right, and let's go have a beer on Friday afternoon at noon, or let's do whatever. Charles came in here a little hungover today, but we won't blame him for that, because I was too. So whatever, we just all kind of mesh well together, and we know that even if we are hungover, we got to get our shit done. But I'm gonna go over to his house in a few hours, and we're gonna crush some more drinks, right? So it's
Yeah,
all good.
it's just you just kind of have to restart and kind of, keep it at that even keel almost, I guess. But like I was
Yeah,
saying the same thing, like you have a couple of them, but it's good to kind of unwind, man. We've all been through a lot, like in the last little while,
oh, for sure.
couple of years. So if you can go to an event at Deer Creek, wherever it is, and have a couple, like why not, right? It's a good thing. But
Felt good to be around people. Felt good to
yeah,
not have to worry about somebody blowing their breath in my face and worrying about
yeah,
catching something. And again, it's just yeah, we need some normalcy, and that's why this drink's called the transfusion, brother. You get a transfusion, and that just pumps you right up for the day, and that's why it's more of a morning drink than anything, because it can be a real good leveler to set the stage for how your day's going to be. So
yeah. I'm
we
kind of
call
thinking
it.
about that too. Like it's one of those you might like obviously having a triple bogey out on the course is great, but this might be like a bounce back drink if you started poorly on your round, right?
Yes,
Grab one of these and
100%. It's a bounce back drink. This should kind of take the place of a Caesar, to be honest,
yeah,
and because it's grape juice. Who doesn't want to drink grape juice in the morning, right? I'm not promoting let's drink in the morning, but
it's good for you.
pretty good.
I'll
Yeah.
do it. It's like we said, we waited till 12:01 here. We record in the afternoon, but we waited till the afternoon.
Yeah.
We're smart about it. We took our
I
time
used to
and
say this wasn't my second. Come on. It's like
yeah,
taxi.
exactly. So you do you think like there's a different type of market that you're trying to reach with the transfusion? Or have you heard any of that response with like it just being, beer and then you went to the half and half? Was there a reason why you tried to curb that market and now you're doing the transfusion? Are you trying to, touch a different demographic with that?
I think we're going to get more people, because now it's a nice clean vodka drink.
Yeah.
A lot of ladies, and I'm not trying to cause any ruckuses here, but some ladies aren't beer drinkers, and they don't want to have anything to do with malt, and that's kind of why we're changing the half and half to a vodka drink. I think we'll be able to hit the lady demographic. I think we'll be able to hit the young guys and boys weekend demographic. I think we're going to be able to hit the seniors, because it's just a good drink, right? Like I truly believe that this thing's going to fly. We're the first to bring it to Canada. And I had no idea that so many people knew what a transfusion was. And we'll go to golf clubs like the Granite Golf and Country Club, the Granite Club, and they say, yeah, we've been mixing these for years. And I'm just like, wow. And these are private golf club, Mississauga,
Yeah.
all these places, and I just had no idea. Cherry Hill down in near Niagara and Fort Erie. He's like, this is our top drink, and we've been waiting for somebody to can this. I wish somebody just tapped me on the shoulder 5 years ago, and we would have had this thing rolling, right? But everything happens at the right time for a reason. And to be honest, I came home and said to Megan last night, I said, wow, people were coming back for threes and thirds and fourths. And this thing, I didn't get one bad review from the people that we gave it to yesterday at Deer Creek. She said, yeah, because nobody's done anything like this. It's different. It's completely different from a vodka seltzer. That's just a normal, and I'm not slugging vodka seltzers, but this has a story to it. It revolves around golf, and it's perfect for our brand. And, you're going to see a lot of purple bucket hats out there. You're going to see a lot of, t-shirts and hats and whatever. And it's going to be a fun couple of years, I think.
I don't know if my camera's blurry or if I just had a few too many of these last night. I can't tell, but hopefully it hasn't been too blurry the whole time. But yeah, just wanted to keep you for a few more minutes if we can. Curious to kind of see where you want this to roll out for the rest of the year. Any plans with like any of the other brands? I know I had a thought there where you were mentioning like the Transfusion, how you think that this could be like huge for the brand, and like with Triple Bogey and stuff like that. It's something that the beer itself, like the lager, is something that I like, but I can understand why people would, have a different opinion. Some people like, different types of beer, whatever it is. There's such a huge market for that. But if this is essentially the only canned Transfusion that I've seen anyway in the area. So I'm kind of curious to see where this is going to bring the brand, where you're hoping it brings the brand. Do you have any plans to develop any like new formulations, anything like that in the next year or so?
I can't tell you that because they're all listening, brother. They're all listening, and I've learned that over this past year. Is we're first to market with this. There is I've heard rumors that there is a couple coming behind me, but again, we've gone to all our golf courses. Everybody said they're taking it, so good luck to them. But ours tastes like a Transfusion. There's no reason why it shouldn't be the number one kind of RTD they call it on golf courses. But yeah, from there might be a couple different flavors of the Transfusion. I don't know. We'll see. But there is a few drinks that every year. My 5-year-old Sawyer said the other day when we were lying in bed, he said, "So you got the Transfusion this year. You had the half and half last year. What are you going to do next year, Daddy?" I said, "Easy there, buddy. You don't need the pressure from you. I got enough pressure on me to keep this bus rolling, right?" So we'll see what happens. But I really want to put my heart into the half and half and the Transfusion for now, for the next year or two. Again, the Triple Bogey Lager. I drink 1 or 2 Transfusions, and I won't say it out loud, but maybe 6 or 8 Triple Bogey Lagers, and then that's my day, right? But not every day, but that's kind of what I do. So I think there's room for both. These are great. You can't drink too many of them, or you won't be able to walk, or whatever. You'll need a real Transfusion. So the beer is still out there. It's still gonna be great. We got an amber lager, we got a light lager, we got a non-alcoholic beer, which actually is selling well these days too. Which it's kind of a new. I don't know. Everybody loves, people want to drink 2 beers and then maybe they'll have an on-alc just because they got to drive home. But ours tastes like beer. It's got real flavor. So we've been selling a lot of that as well. So yeah, I think we're sitting pretty. We're losing our vodka, our lime seltzer. There's too many lime seltzers out there. We're just going to discontinue that once the cans run out. And this is going to take the place of that. And I got my sights set on the East Coast. I'm excited to get out to Fox Harbor and Cabot and all those great places where we got great friends out there. It'd be great to connect with them over Transfusion and half and half out there, to be honest. And we're just gonna keep rolling. I put my blinders up. I don't listen to the bullshit. I don't listen to the like I said, the people that want to tear you down because they're just jealous of what we're doing. But life is good, and we're gonna keep rolling.
Well, too, something that I've thought about, like kind of looking at this can. I know you guys had that one mug out too that caught my eye. It was like the golf mug. I think you had done it with Sick Cups or whatever, and it's almost like a Yeti style looking mug, and then it's got like all the golf ball. Like, do you get involved in a lot of the graphics? So something that I'm noticing is like the graphics on the can definitely stick out. It's attractive to people. Like the lime green is, or the triple bogey color is obviously something that grabs the eye. So you have your design background, the Quagmire background. Is that something that you get involved in, Geoff, or is it something that you outsource?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I told you before we came on the air. I don't know if we were on there or not, but the can itself, this transfusion can right now, we're going to make it a little bit more dark purple. So
Okay.
I've kind of decided that we've had a little powwow and we want to make it a little bit darker. So the next run of cans will be a little bit different, but that's okay. Right now, it's all about the drink inside, and it's a good purple, but we're going to make it a little more rich and a little darker. These are things I think about all day, every day. And yes, I got a good buddy of mine, Steve Woods. He kind of brings things to life. Him and I tell him this is what I kind of envision. Can we do this and this and this? He'll draw it out, do all that stuff. And a guy named Paul Rosar, he also helps as well. So yeah, we got those guys, and Steve's a great social media guy. He's been pumping us up on Instagram and all that stuff. And I send my little tweets and Instagrams when I have a few minutes while I'm drinking a few drinks, and they're usually pretty sappy and they're usually pretty real. But that's kind of how people know us. But yeah, I got my hands in everything, man, and I want it that way, or else I'd be bored. So.
Well, and that's kind of how we've seen success with the pod too. Like Bryce and I, we've been, Bryce has probably been on with us since 3-4 months in, and like I said, we've been going every Friday, and it's been something that we've just kind of kept going. Like it's not like it's really easy to just sort of let go of something like that and kind of let it fall by the wayside. But if you're, like you said, if you have a hand in it, like if you're kind of building the brand yourself, if you're seeing a lot of your graphics and your hard work go into it, and then people are enjoying it, you can kind of connect with them and share that love with them too, right? And so I know that you do that through social media a lot and stuff, and that's something that we definitely try to do to connect with people and kind of be genuine with it. And that's why we've seen success with kind of our model. Each week we'll have a brand on, kind of like yourself, and then the next week we'll have like a pro golfer on, like PGA Tour Canada, Epson Tour or something, and then maybe we'll have like a club fitter on the next week or something, right? We can kind of like connect with a lot of different people that all have the same interest, and that's golf, right? And with that, usually has a couple of drinks involved too, right? So something that's kind of come to my mind. I had like while we're talking about the design and stuff and thinking back to your background and a lot of it being like clothing and whatnot, is there any, like, do you see anything that pops up now that makes you think like I would love to kind of collaborate with that brand, or any brands that are kind of your style that you like that kind of catch your eye?
Yeah, all the time, man. And that's why I said about the full wedge stuff.
Yeah.
I like that guy. He's a really nice guy. He's been down the office a few times, and I see a lot of me in him. Like I see him. I see me 20 years ago when I was ready to start Quagmire, right? And he's just got full of energy, and that's rare these days. So I'm proud of him. I think he's going to do really well. So that's why we're making our shirts with him. My good buddy Chris Tamas. He's well loved in the golf business. He's one of my best buddies, and so we like to surround ourselves. He's at Ahead, whatever. So we always get our hats from him. The hat that you got on, but it's also about relationships. We went out to the Edmonton Golf Show, or the Calgary Golf Show, the Alberta Golf Show this year, and this guy's, everybody loves him. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him, and to be affiliated with that also helps our brand. And it's not even for that reason at all, to be honest. He's my best buddy, but it's just the relationships that you build in this business, and it's such a tight knit bunch of people. Outside of golf, sure, like anything. I got a call. I had a good chat with Dave Bradley from TaylorMade. He's like, we should do some stuff, or whatever. There's so many brands and good golf brands out there that we would go out and pour some pints while you're hitting drivers, and whatever. It's just there is a ton of shit that we can do. We just have to have time. We have to have money to do so, and we have to have the bodies to kind of do it all. But yeah, there's lots more shit that we can do. How about a Triple Bogey Open? Why don't we have a golf tournament, a big Gong Show golf tournament that could be up at Mill Run with Full Wedge and get all these sponsors and everybody gets all this free shit. Who knows? We'll keep you posted on that, but that's probably coming down the pipe, right? So
I like it. That's a great idea. I would love to see something like that, and especially at Mill Run. That's not too far from where I am too. So
there you go.
pick that spot, and we'll be there. We'll do an on air session or something like that until we
love that.
until we can't put any more words together or something. Maybe we might have to cut it at that point. But are you playing much golf anymore, Geoff? Are you getting out to tee it up much anymore?
No. I played once last year. It was at Charles's bachelor party up in Collingwood, and needless to say, it was just a big booze fest. But I don't really care these days. I get invited everywhere. I'm happy that I appreciate people inviting me places. I can't wait to play again, but I do this. I get on the road, I sell, and then I go home and look after my kids, right? And I like to be able to spend time with my family, and that's what you're doing it for anyway, right? So the truth is, I don't really care right now. I got a couple of sets of clubs that I haven't even barely used that people have sent to me, but I'll get back out there. I do love golf, and I do love what we do, but I got my eye on building this business, and I don't want to drop the ball on that. So
I like it, man. I like it. If we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna drop the Instagram handle and stuff like that in the show notes below. If anybody wants to go over and check out Triple Bogey, your personal account, I can drop that in there too, if you don't mind, Geoff. And just kind of follow, and when you see these on the golf cart, you definitely got to grab them for sure. Is there any way if people want to kind of check out like the shop? Do you guys have a way that people can kind of come in, check it out? Do you sell them? Anywhere, like where people can come in and do a tour or anything like that?
No, we're keeping pretty quiet down on that side of things, because otherwise we'd just be bombarded with stuff. But I got an office down here on Queen Street in the Beaches where I live. I live a couple streets over from my office. It's a nice little man cave down here where we're all set up, and I got a couple sales offices back there, and life is good. But no, it's we don't have anywhere that anybody can come by for a tour or whatever. But you want to stop by for a drink, come on by, and I'll have one with you for sure. But it's just go to your golf course. If they don't sell Triple Bogey, then ask them why the hell not. And Transfusion has got us into a lot more doors this year, which is nice. It's people, because the people have their beers that they've been selling for years and whatever, and they've had their relationships, but this is something that nobody else has got going on. So we're kind of first to the party, and it's opening doors that it should be everywhere, to be honest. So,
well, yeah, and I think like you were saying, it's kind of hitting that market of the younger generation that want to kind of get out there and have something to get the day started. And then obviously guys like myself and stuff who've been drinking Triple Bogeys for years, and then the half and half, like I've had a couple of those in the last couple of months of the season. I had a couple of those and they were pretty good. I don't mind the malt, like I don't mind it at all, but going over to the vodka side too would be something that it kind of just it seems like you guys have really been able to connect with and check off all boxes. So I'm curious to see if that tequila rolls out one day. That'll be pretty cool. But Geoff, thanks so much, man. This was so great. Obviously I appreciate you guys making some time. I know you're a busy guy. So, and it's sometimes hard to kind of to squeeze these ones in, especially if you and Charles have had a couple the night before and plan to do a couple more later. But all the best to you guys, man. This is great. Appreciate you setting us up with some of these, and they're really good, man. We definitely will. I'll get Bryce. I'll have to get him somehow.
Get you hooked up again. Get you hooked up again, brother. And thanks for always having me, and thanks for always supporting us. You guys have been awesome from day one, so I totally appreciate everything that you've done, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you, man. I can't believe it's been this long. Let's not make it that long before we have another chat, but maybe if we get something going on at Port Hope. I know we got a couple tournament ideas and stuff like that, so we'll reach out and we'll see if we can do a little something there. But if you guys are out at Mill Run, I'll be I got a couple of friends that are members there, so I'll be there for sure.
Sure. Port Hope would be great too. Count us in. We'd love to come out there and do some sampling and do some drinking and have a beer with my buddy Corey there. So. Yeah,
Corey's good stuff, man. The guys in our money game give him a little bit of a hard time sometimes, but booking up too many spots. But he's always good. He's always good to us. We have a good time. So and I know they've always
you, man. He's like you. He's got a heart of gold. So it's all
good. He's got a couple little ones and stuff too, man. He works hard. It's just we book like eight tee slots, and then guys just don't show up because they've had a few too many transfusions the night before, so they don't show up for the tee times, right? But no, he's always got a triple bogey deal going. He's always got like buckets and stuff like that too. So it's always good to be able to see. I don't know, when you see that brand affiliation, you kind of go in there, and then they had the full wedge shirts that you guys put together last year, and those things are really cool too. So it's it's nice to be able to see all of these contacts that we made over the years, and I saw a couple random.
He should be over there giving you a hug.
Well, I was thinking the other day, man, a couple NCAA players that we've had on in the past, just random guys that we met through the pod, ended up meeting up and playing around because we had kind of connected them. It was really cool to see. And they said they had a great time. And I don't know, it's cool to see that stuff, right? So if we, sure. I would definitely like to come over if you guys have that tournament, or if I'm ever in the beaches area, I might drop you a text and stop by for one.
Happy to have you. Cheers,
all
brother.
All right, Geoff, thank you so much, man.
Okay, take it easy. Thank you.
He's out in my ball in the course, so I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross, worst case scenario.